Hi everyone, how's it going? How's everybody feeling tonight? Jupiter is going to go retrograde, and on top of that, we have a lot of other planets that are retrograde right now. So it could feel a little bit as if our life is coming to a halt. It can feel like we have some extra time to go over what we've been feeling, what we've been encountering for the past few months. So, yeah, Jupiter is actually the planet of expansion. It is also, of course, the great benefic. It is a very positive planet. It brings us abundance and expansion, higher knowledge, and a lot of wisdom. And yeah, Jupiter actually stretches our consciousness. So, and now with Jupiter going retrograde, it's asking us to grow inward before we expand outward again. So it is actually a big season of sacred reflection right now, and it's about realignment and also about rediscovery of what truly brings a lot of meaning and purpose to our lives. So yeah, let's explore how Jupiter retrograde is going to reshape our beliefs, our future path, and also our future exponential potential. Oh my. Okay, so welcome back to my channel. My name is Astrid. Thank you guys all so much for joining me tonight. And hi, Katie and Inge and Mem Jax and everyone else who's gonna join me tonight. We're gonna dive a little bit into Jupiter retrograde. So let me know if you guys are feeling that energy. I'm gonna switch off the comments like this. So, Jupiter. Do some of my people here in the live chat have a prominent Jupiter? That means if it's on your rising sign, if you're ruled by Jupiter, so maybe you're a Sag, maybe it's on another important placement in your chart, let me know where you have your Jupiter. I have my Jupiter in the third house in the sign of Sagittarius, so a very expensive planet. And talking, writing, communicating, that's why I love talking to you guys here every week. So, and hey, Sheris B and Yana. Oh, so glad you guys are joining. So let's take a look at the dates. The retrograde period happens today. And like, how special is it that we have like Jupiter, the planet of luck and abundance and expansion, going retrograde on 11/11? That is like a very beautiful portal that is opening up today. So if you've encountered something meaningful, or if just something happened today that like really baffled you, or like that you are thinking like this is very synchronistical, or like this needs to like happen, like pay a lot of attention. Like this is like a very rare and beautiful portal that is opening up today. So let me know how you guys are experiencing that. So let's all really manifest and use the benefic energy of planet Jupiter to our advantage today. And hugs to each and every one of you guys. So happy you're here in big numbers. So if you look at the retrograde of Jupiter, that of course starts today, but the shadow period has been going on since the 17th of August, and it's going to last until the 5th of June 2026. So that is the shadow period. It of course turns back direct on the 10th of March, and what is especially potent about that specific date is that around the 10th of March, at the exact same time, when Jupiter goes direct, we're gonna see like the orbiting of Three-Eyed Atlas nearby Jupiter. So as soon Jupiter comes back online, we see Three-Eyed Atlas closing in on Jupiter. That is like gonna be so special and amazing, and it's gonna really like stretch our mind wide open. It's gonna expand a lot of consciousness, and I think that is a very beautiful synchronicity that is going to happen in March. It's also during the Saturn-Neptune conjunction by the end of February. That's going to happen at 0 degrees of Aries, a very potent point, because that is the world point axis. So yeah, a whole new era is going to start by the spring of 2026. So yeah, and Miss Invisible says she has Jupiter in her 11th house. On the 11th of 11th, Jupiter in the 11th house. That is beautiful, Jana. Thank you for sharing. And Katie says Cancer in the 6th house. Well, yeah, you have a lot of busy daily activities going on. There's like a lot of expansion in your daily routine, and like your daily routine needs to be infused with a lot of purpose and wisdom. And yeah, that is very, very beautiful. So another important point in the retrograde motion of Jupiter, that will be the date of the 10th of January of 2026. Then it will be like in the middle, and there will be a very big solar opposition from all of planets in Capricorn that are going to oppose Jupiter retrograde in the sign of Cancer. But more on that later, but that is definitely a day to keep in mind, because that is going to be very, very special, definitely in regards to implementation of new laws, and also, yeah, new laws that are going to be implemented by the government. Like that is going to be pretty, pretty interesting, if you ask me. If we then look at what the Jupiter retrograde happens for the US, that is also worth mentioning. In previous historic cycles, we saw Jupiter retrograde in the sign of Cancer during 9/11. And I do not want to freak people out in any kind of way, but the same kind of themes tend to come up, because Cancer is a sign of the homeland, and it's about national, homeland security as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some kind of false flag event, or like some kind of weird things happening inside of the US in the next couple of months that could like justify some kind of implementation of new laws for the benefit of the people, but it's actually capable or like known for like being able to take freedom away from the people for their safety, or that's what they're gonna tell. So it's definitely something to keep your eyes to look for, especially because we're gonna have one of the most intense new moons happening in a week. Like in 9 days, we're gonna have a new moon in Scorpio, and more on that later. But if they want to like install fear in the collective, that is definitely like the perfect time to do that. So be discernment. Don't let fear overtake you. Just like keep grounded. Just try to like use your X-ray Scorpio vision and dive deeper to find the actual truth. So that is like a short notice on that. But let's dive into more of the Jupiter retrograde. So Jupiter, of course, like let's talk about what Jupiter rules. It is the planet of growth and wisdom and blessings and abundance. It is actually an energy that opens up doors. It can really magnify a lot of opportunities. It can also help us to see the bigger picture of life. It is about faith and travel, spirituality, and your belief system. The things that create a lot of meaning in your life. So it makes everything bigger. As soon Jupiter touches something, it like expands. So that can be your luck, your dreams. It can also be your appetite, not only for life, but like your real appetite. And by that, you can also expand in a very, very physical way. So higher learning, spirituality, and all those big aha kind of moments that truly can shift your entire perspective. So Jupiter is like the cosmic coach who says like, go for it, the universe has your back, and Jupiter also rules over protection. So if planets had some kind of personality, Jupiter would be like that enthusiastic friend who says yes before even hearing the full details of the plan. And somehow that still works out for them. That is like the positive meaning of Jupiter. Then Cancer, of course, is about, that's like a very different type of energy. Cancer is about home, family, emotional security, our roots, intuition, ancestry, and our inner emotional landscape. So very much connected to all types of nurturing, the womb, motherhood, femininity, but also like belonging and comfort and childhood, like all the places and all the people that make us feel safe and seen. Cancer is like the mother archetype. So think about things from the past, because it's also about our emotional memory and also the need to care and be cared for. Like I am very lucky because my mother is a Cancer, and where Cancer shows up, we're like invited to really listen to our emotions and feelings. We need to reconnect to our inner child, especially when there's a retrograde, and we really need to honor our emotional needs. And Cancer sometimes It can be a little bit moody from time to time, and cancers will definitely cry, but they will at the same time also make us a lot of nice comfort food and a lot of snacks that we can enjoy together under our blanket and in our cocoon that feels very safe and warming. So it is a sign that really knows how to soothe other people's emotions, but by that they sometimes forget how to soothe their own emotions. So the fun part is that Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. It likes to be there. So a very powerful time for emotional expansion and deep healing, like the healing of our ancestral lineage. And all the blessings or the curses that we've inherited from our family line. So Jupiter in Cancer definitely amplifies our intuition and compassion and our desire to really protect and to nourish. So with Jupiter in Cancer, our emotions expand, our intuition becomes stronger, and our desire to protect and like fulfilling our personal life, that like all grows massively. So a lot of Cancers have been saying to me like, Astrid, why haven't I felt or noticed like all of the abundance that Jupiter in Cancer offers us? It's like, well, Jupiter tends to do that more after its retrograde period. And let's also not forget in the beginning, around June, when Jupiter entered Cancer, it was squaring Saturn and Neptune. So that was definitely not a fun time for a lot of Cancers. But just know after the retrograde period, things can become more bountiful, but still there will be in a sort of form of emotional blessings and not the kind of numbers on our bank account. So I just wanted to like throw that out there as well. And like the energy of Jupiter in Cancer, under this transit, a lot of people who swore that they would never get a lot of plants or pets or children, suddenly they start browsing in their Google, looking for cozy home decor, and maybe some of you are going to consider moving closer back to family. And some of you guys might also think like, maybe I want a garden and maybe I want a kid to play in that garden. So definitely like expanding all of the emotional abundance that we can find at home. So if you don't look at the chart, here we can see the chart, and there are a ton of important things that I want to mention to you guys, because we can see Chiron retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde, Jupiter today, and on top of that, we have Mercury retrograde as well. So this is like a reframing, like it's like hitting the brakes and be like, oh, maybe I should like ponder upon all the previous months and look at where my life is heading towards, and we get like this extra time to really think that through and think about our next steps in life, because the next steps that we are about to take can totally change up our lives, because all of the outer planets are going to move into a different sign in spring next year, and by that, like the era of water and earth will be fully over, and we're going to step into a new era of air and fire, and that is totally different energy. It's way more masculine energy. Like water is very feminine and very passive and emotional. It also, of course, is very good for our intuition and psychic senses and all of that. But next year, by the spring, for the Northern Hemisphere in 2026, like the time of passively waiting is going to be like over. Whenever the planets, especially Saturn and Neptune, are going to conjunct at 0 degrees Aries, that will be like then, okay, all of my dreams, I now need to take action on that. And a lot of people will be able to make their dreams come true. But with Saturn and Neptune, that takes a lot of hard work and dedication. And not being bothered what other people think about your dreams, just doing you. Just like, this is a big new synodic cycle that is going to start in the fire sign of Aries. We need to take action on our dreams. And those who really have the balls and the guts to go over after their dreams, they are definitely going to be able to make them to realize them. Of course, Saturn is about crystallizing things and structure, and Neptune is about dissolving and intuition and the spiritual realm. So you can look at it as like a crystallization of spirituality. We're going to see massive things. I think we're going to, in the collective, there will be some kind of big event where spirit is going to show itself very, very clearly, and a lot of people are going to be very, very baffled with that energy. So yeah, something to look forward to. On other, of course, it has a shadow expression as well, but let's just keep it a little bit positive today with the positive energy of Jupiter that's infusing us today. So a bit more on that later. We see a Mercury retrograde conjuncting Mars. Be a little bit careful with your words. This can quickly end up in a lot of heated debates and saying things that you cannot take back anymore. So be a little bit wary about that. But definitely, if you've been like more of a shy type of person, you can like really speak up about your beliefs and really share your truth, but do that in a very polite and diplomatic kind of way. Because if you're gonna be doing that in a very big Sag kind of way, and like I love Sagittarius, don't get me wrong, but Sagittarius can be very, very enthusiastic and can be very, very blunt and very confident, and that can definitely ruffle some feathers for people who are not used to that kind of energy. But yeah, Mercury normally is neutral planet, but whenever it touches a malefic like Mars, it becomes malefic as well. So unfortunately, we are seeing a bit more of a difficult configuration, and definitely with the moon and Leo squaring that as well. And it's like a closing moon phase that can definitely be a little bit harder. So if you had some kind of discussion today, just like try to soothe it and balm it with like the emotional intelligence of Jupiter here in the sign of Cancer. Another thing is that there is like a cosmic link between this Jupiter retrograde and also Mercury retrograde, which are now like happening at the same time. Mercury retrograde popped off at the 9th of November. 2 days later, we see Jupiter retrograde. And there's a very big link here. Jupiter rules Sag. And while Jupiter stations retro, we also have Mercury retrograde taking place in Sag. So they disposit to each other. Mercury has to like report to Jupiter for guidance. So the Mercury retro themes are definitely magnified and actually get filtered through Jupiter's lens, which is very intuitive and very emotional. So yeah, instead of Mercury retrograde just like scrambling up all the information and miscommunication, it's now like pushing us to really rethink our beliefs and how we share our truth, and also about the stories that we tell ourselves, especially those about safety and belonging and emotional honesty. So yeah, these two retrogrades combined, they won't just be about rethinking our philosophies and revisiting our old plans. It's going to challenge us a bit on the emotional motivation behind those beliefs. Where Sag wants a lot of truth and meaning, Cancer wants like emotional security and feeling at home. So there's this cosmic reality check, like, does your worldview actually feel supportive? And do your beliefs align with your emotional truth? And we are going to see a lot of people questioning their personal philosophies. It's also about cultural narratives, and can even be about spiritual teachings that we once fully accepted without really thinking about them and what that really manifests in our life, and if we're doing the right thing with all of that. Because Mercury retro, it's famous for like poking holes in, like, especially in Sag, in the toxic positivity, in spiritual bypassing, and also in like overly intellectual beliefs that like fully ignore emotional reality. So Jupiter in Cancer is really saying like wisdom must include the heart, and wisdom must also include like having gone through that type of experience. And with Saturn in Pisces, the sign of spirituality, it's also very important to look at the reality, even if that's the reality isn't that pretty. So yeah, the second chart here, this is for when Jupiter is going to station direct on the 10th of March. And look how beautifully aligned the universe is here right now, because we see here today that Jupiter is dispositing Mercury, and then here we see Jupiter going direct, and it's again dispositing, like Mercury is again dispositing Jupiter, because of course Jupiter rules over traditionally Pisces, and the modern day ruler is of course Sag. So there's like a link. And then we're gonna have another Mercury retrograde in the sign of Pisces. So this is like pretty wild, and it makes it way more interesting. Yeah, Pisces is about mystical things and the subconscious, and also our like frequency and our energetic aura and all of that. So the second part really becomes about aligning our truth with our spirituality and also our intuitive knowing. So this is such a beautiful energy. Oh my God. Mercury here moves from like his intellectual truth to more of a soul kind of truth. And the universe here is saying like, first, fix your beliefs, but then you need to fix the energy behind it. So yeah, very rare and spiritually potent. Trine opens a lot of flowing energy, a lot of understanding, a lot of healing. So yeah, a massive moment and integration of our spiritual beliefs and insights. Yeah, it can be for someone or something, things might finally start to click and make sense. This is like a merging of mind, heart, and soul. So yeah, within those next few months, there can be a lot of breakthroughs and forgiveness and in healing, especially in regards to your family and the energetic energy behind that. So yeah, a very beautiful cosmic green light here around the 10th of March, after all of these months of internal revision. Then 3i Atlas is going to move along, orbiting Jupiter as well. So, or is it going to land on Earth? Who knows? Like, we don't know. But as we are looking into the future right now, this should be like the moment when Jupiter is going to be orbiting Jupiter, as long as it doesn't land on Earth. Imagine, I would be like, so I would like, beam me up, Scotty, like take me out of here. I wouldn't mind, actually. So on a personal level, let me just quickly look at the comments. Oh, you guys are so sweet. You're gonna make me blush here in the comments. That is so sweet. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna just like look at it from a personal perspective. We need to slow down. With all of these planets retrograde right now, deeply reflect. Give yourself some extra time, give yourself some space, some time to retreat, to ponder, to stay a little bit away from like overstimulation in your mental brain. Don't go doom scrolling right now. Reflect on all the emotional growth and your family dynamics, and if you want to make some home changes. Everything that began around June the 9th is now coming up for a reflection. So how have we been nurturing ourselves since June the 9th, and what has been changed in that? It's about safety and belonging, and this really is about building a life that truly supports our emotional well-being. So yeah, we need to reassess what home means to us. We can really reevaluate family dynamics, and we can heal them, and we can even let some of them go if it hurts us too much. But sometimes letting go or taking a bit of a distance can give you the time and the space to really heal old emotional patterns. It is actually like checking in with your inner child. So definitely about reconnecting with your roots and with your ancestry. And the retrograde, it is not about shrinking yourselves to fit into your family. No, it is about making sure that like the growth that you're pursuing, if that's aligned with your heart and not with the conditioning of your upbringing. So are you actually expanding from emotional truth or from all of these old inherited expectations? And we can shed something in that. So on the collective level, very big things that are going to happen here, because we are having 6 consecutive new moons at 28 degrees. That started on the 21st of October in the sign of Libra. So for 6 months in a row, the new moon is going to happen at 28 degrees. 28 degrees is a Cancer degree. So Cancer, of course, rules children and fertility and families, all of the things that Jupiter is currently been amplifying. So this pattern isn't random. It is like a cosmic spotlight on the Cancer theme. So when new moons repeat at the same degree, it is like a cosmic drumbeat that's really like activating the same karmic theme over and over until the collective is going to pay attention. And 28 is Cancer's frequency. We're going to be forced to look at the birth rates, at the well-being of our children, at the fertility issues, at like how parents are currently parenting their children, and it's also about like the emotional health of the future generations that are about to come. So the declining birth numbers across many countries are going to become impossible to ignore. We're going to see, I think, both panic-driven policies and also at the same time these more conscious, heart-centered solutions that are going to be emerging. So how are we caring for the children in the world? What is happening to the children in the world, and what kind of emotional environment are they actually being born into? The universe is making it actually very, very clear in the next 6 months that we are putting an emphasis on the future generations' nourishment, on their safety, and on the emotional foundations that are all going to become a very big priority. So yeah, how we nurture, protect, and care for one another. That is going to be the collective theme. It's also going to put a very big emphasis on the fact that governments are going to face big pressure to reform some social safety nets. Think about housing. A lot of people of the younger generation are not able to buy a house anymore. At the food that we've been giving them. And actually, we need to move towards a more emotional centered conversations actually about how society treats their most vulnerable, and whether a home feels safe for them. So yeah, that's going to be a big mirror. Very big global reflection also on national identity, on borders, on homeland security. We're going to see intense debates about immigration and refugees and protection of the land and its resources, and also nationalism is going to be very, very big. It's going to get expanded by that. So yeah, some are going to really retreat. Some countries are going to retreat into more of these defensive kind of policies, while others are going to use this period to really redefine patriotism through more empathy rather than fear. So yeah, that's going to be a very, very interesting topic. There is also, of course, Cancer is also about nourishment and the stomach and how we feed ourselves, and it's also about breasts and like breastfeeding and all of that. That can be a big theme, and also a big reflection around agriculture, whether our food is safe, also environmental sustainability, especially with Uranus back into Taurus right now. So yeah, a rebalancing of our food supply chains, the housing markets, and also land ownership. Jupiter Retrograde always reveals like the imbalance between abundance and waste, and it's always showing us where humanity has taken more than it's actually cared for. So this can definitely, like, the emotional tone in the media, they're definitely gonna like use this to their advantage, because yeah, emotional sensitivity always rises under Jupiter in Cancer. Think about like public dialogues that can become more emotional or nostalgic, or can have like this protective energy around them. We can see a lot of waves in the collective about like a feeling of sentimentality, especially feeling sentimental, especially also with Saturn and Neptune and Pisces wrapping up their last big final hit into the sign of Pisces. This is like a very big emotional karmic ending. So yeah, we're gonna see old wounds around the defensiveness also re-rise, and like, yeah, there can be a risk of emotional manipulation in politics and medias, and the media and leaders can really use a lot of fear or some kind of nostalgia to really control the narrative. So stay compassionate without becoming too reactive. You can feel deeply, but my advice is to respond very wisely, because migration is such a difficult topic. Then the rise in nationalism versus the empathy movements, the back and forth between that as well. There can also be like a lot of focus on climate-related home disasters, especially with Uranus back in Taurus and Neptune at its 29th critical and erratic degree in the sign of Pisces. They're making their exact sextile. And that is always about like home displacement and related to climate disasters. So a lot of floods and storms and sea levels that are gonna force people to relocate. It's gonna definitely spark a lot of global conversation around climate refugees. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly look at the comments. Yes, Mem Jax, you're saying Astrid. Who needs the news? You have okay. I'm reading the comments. You guys are on fire tonight. Thank you so much. Boom, shakalaka. I like that, Katie. I hope you're feeling better. How is everything going with the dizziness? I've been suffering from vertigo in the past as well, and that was like because my life was so out of balance. Once I've started realigning my life, my vertigo really tended to get a lot better. So it's actually a signal of your body that something needs to be rebalanced. Now with all these retrograde themes, everyone has the chance to really take a closer look at that. So by that, I'm gonna start with the 12 rising signs. Yeah, it's a little bit a shorter video today. Mercury retrograde is so busy. And Dragger Sorcerer says, Astrid, can you tell us about the ancient placement of Jupiter 15 degrees in Cancer and how it stayed there for a while and then goes the other way? Do you know anything about that? I'm actually not quite sure about your question, because Jupiter is going to station direct on 15 degrees of Cancer now on the 10th of March in 2026. And it actually, and yes, it stays there for a while, because once it switches its retrograde motion, it needs to take its time and it comes to a complete halt and it stands still before it starts moving again in another direction. So if you have anything in the water signs around 10-20 degrees, you're going to receive a Jupiter trine for an extended time period, which is very, very cool and very beneficial if you have anything around those degrees. So, yeah, let's start with Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Do we have an Aries in the chat? Where are my fellow Aries? So for you, my dear Aries, Jupiter is, of course, stationing retrograde in your 4th house of home, family, and roots, and also your emotional foundations. So yeah, this begins like a deep inner review of where and how you feel safe. And Jupiter also rules your 9th house of beliefs, travel, and education. And also your 12th, which is about the subconscious and healing, and also the past and like the mystical and the things that are the unseen realms. So your spirit guides are found in the 12th. So very, very cool. So yeah, the retrograde is going to pull together your physical home with your inner spiritual home. This is like the bridging of the 4th and the 9th house. So reflect on your family patterns, your childhood conditioning, and also about the emotional imprints from your ancestral line that actually still influence how you show up in your private life today, because the 4th and the 12th can be very, very private. Some of you are going to be revisiting your old hometown, reconnect with family, craving some sense of belonging that you haven't felt in a while. Can be about moves, renovations, and family plans. All of that can come to a kind of pause in order for you to reflect on that. So don't go like moving out of the blue right now. This is not to block your process, but to actually ensure that your changes are aligned with your emotional truth. Some of you might change their minds, because this is like a rerouting phase. Perfect time to declutter your emotional, confined or hidden places within your home and within your emotional self, because the 12th is about things that we cannot fully grasp and things that it's like our blind spot. So yeah, It's also about self-sabotage. If you clean up your home, you can, like, by that also clean up a bit of the energetic self-sabotage as well. So go to the basement, go to the attic, go to like the place where you wash or do your laundry. Restructurize that, or create more space in that with Jupiter. And that can have a very beautiful effect on your energetic 12th house as well. So yeah, a lot of you are gonna reach out from people to people from the past, people that actually felt like family. That would also be the case for you guys. So it's about inner reflection, spiritual cleansing, and ancestral healing. And old memories can also resurface so that you can actually finally process them and also release what doesn't belong on your future path. So yeah, some of you might become a little bit more introverted. And I know a lot of you guys, my dear Aries, have been a little bit more introverted with Saturn and especially Neptune in your 12th house. That could have felt definitely very lonely the past few years. Well, look at this as like your final moment of being this introvert. Like a lot of Aries, right? Especially also Aries Sun, also rising, they have not been acting like an Aries rising or Sun because Neptune has been creating a lot of confusion in the 12th, and like there was a lot of self-sabotage. Well, Neptune and Saturn are about to enter your first house, my dear Aries, in the spring of 2026, next year. So then you need to like get out of hiding and show them your witchy side, or like make your dreams come true. That is definitely a possibility for you guys. So yeah, by March of 2026, you're definitely gonna understand better where you truly belong and what home needs to look and feel like for the next chapter of your life. So let me know how that's resonating for you, my dear Aries, and I wish you the best of luck. We have Taurus and Moon or Rising. Jupiter is going to station retrograde in your third house of communication. It's also about learning, studying, technological advice, devices, being on the road, neighbors, actually your local environment. But Jupiter also rules your 8th house, and it also rules your 11th house. So the 8th is about intimacy and shared resources, investments, psychologically, also emotional depth. The 8th house is very occult. So yeah, you can definitely have some psychological insights that gets expanded, or if you've been bumping into these insights, you can now like reflect and even expand them even more. So then the 11th is of course about your friends, your community, your soul tribe, your like-minded people. So yeah, it weaves a story about like the quality of your connections, and it's not about the quantity. And that might become very obvious. You're going to reevaluate the people, the places, and also all the daily conversations that fill your life. If your connections are actually emotionally nourishing, or if they've just been like a habit. So time to slow down, to listen more deeply, and communicate from the heart rather than like obligation. You can have old friendships, past conversations that come back up. Really take time to journal about your feelings as well, and about how you communicate with other people. You can also return to blogging, writing, studying, or like a subject that you loved learning about once back in the past, but that you like drifted away from. Something can go back up in regards to that. So actually reconnection with like also parts of your mind and your voice that are actually going to help you with abundance. So Jupiter's influence over the 8th and the 11th, it's the way you communicate within your relationships and also within your groups, your group endeavors, though that is actually maturing. So, and with the 8th involved, vulnerability and communication will definitely strengthen the right bonds, and it's also going to expose the superficial ones. Also shared resources in exchange, like with your friendships, that might also need some renegotiation or maybe some clearer boundaries. So yeah, if people come onto your path that are involved in some kind of community, or they maybe want to do some kind of collaboration, you might wonder, like, does this still align with who I'm becoming? So sibling relationships might also go through a healing chapter. If you had a falling out with a neighbor or with a sibling, that is also the perfect time to ponder upon that. So yeah, enrich your daily life and communication with a lot of meaning and warmth and emotional intelligence, and you're going to feel quite happy by doing that. So yeah, you're being guided here to create a new rhythm that feels more mentally soothing and that is going to be more spiritually aligned with your conscious brain. So by March of 2026, the way you speak and connect and learn and how you share yourself with the world are going to feel more supportive and true, and it can also feel more authentic. So good luck, my dear Taurus. Hi, Claudia. All right, we have Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Jupiter is stationing retrograde in your second house. So, the second, of course, is about money and self worth and your personal resources. It's actually the things that you own and possess. And yeah, it's turning the spotlight more inward on what truly makes you feel secure. Jupiter also rules the seventh house, which is about clients and relationships and marriage and also business partnerships, but also the 10th house. And we see it trying to Saturn. So I actually forgot to mention that for the other signs, but whatever house, it's like trying to, there's like a beautiful flow of energy that comes very naturally. So very, very positive energy here, guys. The 10th is about your career, your public image, and also your success. The retrograde is going to blend your finances and your self-esteem with like the quality of your relationships and also your professional life. So there's a lot of things that come together here. Reassess what you earn, what you charge, what are you offering, and most importantly, what do you believe in your worth? Like, do you believe you're worth it? It's not just about money, because values are also found in the second. So does your current work still reflect your values? And do your partnerships actually support your growth, or do they actually drain your energy? So rethink, yeah, how your time and your skills and your values are exchanged. So yeah, powerful period for practicing gratitude, and also, yeah, redefining your relationship with abundance, but not only in a material way. It's also like beyond the material gain here. Emotional and relational riches that you already have come into focus. So yeah, it's also going to influence, of course, your career goals, financial plans, and all of these things might slow down temporarily for a little while. But yeah, you can make them more aligned and more emotionally secure. So yeah, review your budget. You can renegotiate some agreements or some contracts, and also have honest conversations with your partners about shared goals. Can you hold your word even when the external world is a bit more quiet? So perfect time to restructure your work life so it feels more nurturing, more purposeful, and connected to what actually truly matters to you. So if you've been chasing success at like the cost of this inner stability, then yeah, this is like a gentle energy that's going to bring you back to the center. Also think about all your investments and your earnings, and all of that might rebuild slowly but more sustainably by March of 2026, when you've like strengthened your inner foundation of worthiness. So good luck, my dear Gemini. We have Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Okay, Cancer, this is very personal for you because Jupiter is going to go retrograde in your sign. So if you haven't felt the positive, beneficial influence of Jupiter in your sign, then I have good news for you guys, because it tends to do that way more after the retrograde period. So by the 10th of March, you can have like a boom. It's going to go direct on the 15th degree of Cancer. So if you have your Sun, Moon, or Rising around those degrees, let's say, and I'm going to be generous today with the Jupiter energy, but let's say between 10 and 20 degrees, then you're going to get a massive hit of Jupiter during the month of March, even already leading up from the middle of February. So whatever lands on your lap, take it with both hands during that time. So the first, this is of course about your identity and your body. It's also about your self-image, your vitality, how you present yourself to the world. So yes, it's been all about you since July when Jupiter entered. Yeah, it's most likely should bring you a lot of growth and opportunities and expansion. Maybe you've had some extra attention or some blessings in regards to your family, or like a renewed sense of possibility. But now Jupiter is going to turn inward. So the focus is really going to shift to more like external growth, from external growth to more of an inner alignment. And it's about self-belief and your emotional self-nurturing. And Jupiter, of course, also rules your 6th house. That is about health and routine and your daily work and your colleagues and also your pets. And the 9th is about beliefs and mindset and also purpose and education. And it's making beautiful flowing trine to the 9th. So look at how your habits and your stress levels and also your work life and your belief systems, how they are directly like influence your emotional and physical well-being. Revise your health routines. There can be shifts in how you care for your body. Maybe you need to reassess some work demands. So maybe you need to take a break from trying to prove yourself so that you can actually nourish your inner world with more intention and wisdom and higher wisdom as well. So yeah, a very powerful identity reset. Shed all of these old labels, shed your childhood conditioning, and also, yeah, like, do you still believe in the story that you tell yourself about who you are? Because Jupiter is now like helping you to rewrite that story from a place of more compassion and more emotional honesty, and that's going to build more inner strength. So reconnect with your inner child. Remember your natural gifts. Really rebuild your confidence from the inside out. So slow down. You can soften. You can prioritize self-care without feeling guilty. I know you guys like to care for other people, but now this is time to take care for yourself, to rest a little bit, and to put an emphasis on like emotional replenishment over like productivity. And if your body has been like signaling or like giving you some stress signals, that can, of course, come through fatigue and problems with digestion, or a little bit emotional overwhelm, then this really is going to highlight the mind-body-soul connection so that you can actually heal patterns at the root cause. We need to stop just treating the symptoms. We need to go all the way back into our ancestral lineage and look at the blessings and the curses that you've inherited from them and make like peace with that. You have actually the capacity, like your capacity to receive blessings actually increases, but you really need to like pay attention and open yourself up for them. Otherwise they could like pass without you even noticing them. So that could be coming in the form of support, more love, more pleasure, more intuitive guidance, more expansion in your emotional field. So yes, step back from like all of this external validation and really seek this emotional replenishment instead. All of the things that you shed now, you can like really release them for good, by doing inner work, by strengthening your boundaries, definitely in regards to family. That is going to increase your self-respect, and also by that having a beautiful effect on your sense of identity. So by next year, March 2026, you can have like a clearer self-image. You can become like, or have like a healthier lifestyle kind of rhythm, a magnetic flow or glow that actually can come from emotional security. So yeah, very rare and beautiful 12-year milestone that you have here about inner expansion and rebirth. So yeah, nurture yourself very fiercely as you nurture others. And the more that you're going to honor your inner world, the more that the outer world will really reflect your growth back to you. So good luck, my dear Cancer. And Katie says, yes, 3i Atlas is really gonna upgrade everyone, and that is so, so true. I'm like really looking forward to that. Then we have Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So for you, my dear Leo, the Jupiter retrograde is actually happening in your 12th house. And be ready, guys, because next year during was it? It's definitely the summer, but I forgot the exact month. I think it's gonna be July, but I need to check. I need to double check that. But Jupiter is gonna enter your sign, Leo. Oh my god! Like, brace yourselves. Now it's like clearing up a lot of the past within the 12th house, but once it enters your sign, that is gonna be very, very blissful for you guys. So the 12th is about healing and rest and the subconscious. It's about spirituality and also the things that happen behind the scenes or things that are happening behind your back. So in the 12th, we can find hidden enemies. And actually, Jupiter is giving you protection in that. Maybe now it might show you which people he's been protecting you since July this year. Some of you might not really, some of you might have some surprise, like, oh wow, is this been going on behind my back? Now it became like some time to reflect on that. But definitely the positive part is that Jupiter is actually a benefic protector in the 12th. So really big protection against hidden enemies. That is a very, very beautiful. So Jupiter also rules your 5th house, which is about your creativity and your self-expression and romance. And like for that, this is like so positive, my dear Leos, because next year with Jupiter in your sign, it's gonna trine all the planets that are gonna come through your 5th house, which is actually the traditional Leo house in astrology. So yeah, that is definitely something to look forward to, because you're gonna have an increase in joy and good time. And like, I know Leos have been going through a bit of a tough time and are a little bit more moody than they're used to, and they need to like regain their playful Leo side, and that is definitely in the cards for you next year. So the 5th is about romance, joy, and it also rules the 8th. So the 8th is actually about intimacy, transformation, and your shared resources. So yeah, this one invites you into like emotional and spiritual purification. And yeah, you might actually pull back from the outer world to recharge your inner world. It's like entering a cocoon phase before your next big expansive evolution is going to be starting next year. So powerful time now to really grab this time with both hands and do some therapy, do some shadow work, dream work, write down your dreams, do meditation, ancestral healing, also reconnect with your spiritual practices, because now you have like the time to tap into that energy and really shed a lot of self-sabotaging behavior. Don't take that with you. Don't take that along with you next year whenever Jupiter enters your sign, because otherwise it's gonna like increase or amplify drama as well, which it's definitely gonna do, my dear Leo. Like, we're not gonna pretend that it's not gonna be the case. But if you like now really tap into the 12th house vibe and let go of a lot of self-sabotaging behavior, then it's gonna lessen and lessen the negative impact, and it's only gonna like be more expansive and abundant and beautiful for you next year. So you're actually clearing a lot of emotional residue from the past. Can be about creative blocks, can be about old patterns around vulnerability, because it's also connected to the 8th house. It can be about past trauma being triggered again in order for you to like have a new insight and gain new wisdom on that, so you can like actually shed that. So the universe is actually preparing you. Once Jupiter enters Leo, your rebirth is gonna begin. So for now, rest, reflect, surrender. Know that these things are not stagnation. They're actually very big spiritual preparation. So you're definitely gonna get heightened intuition, heightened synchronicities, messages through dreams. Your psychic sensitivity can really be enhanced, and you're gonna feel way more guided by the invisible support. Dissolve all these outdated things from the past, grief, self-sabotaging habits, loneliness, isolation, emotional overwhelm can resurface a little bit, but see them as a part of your release process rather than a setback. Because creative inspiration is gonna return but it returns through solitude and rituals and honesty and yeah, intimate relationships can also deepen through a lot of vulnerability once you like get more insights on your blind spots, and that is what Jupiter is now offering you. So yeah, detach very lovingly from all the bonds that drain your beautiful fiery spirit. Honor your need for privacy and rest, and you can yeah recalibrate your energy at the big deep soul level. So yeah, give yourself permission to retreat. Your solitude now is actually the soil from which your next chapter is gonna blossom in a very brilliant Leo fiery kind of way. And the chat is going off, so I'm definitely gonna take a quick look. Hey Laura, hey Emma, and Miss Invisible. Yes, you are a Leo. Yes, 2026 is gonna be a way better year for you, Jana. I promise you. So yeah, let's party like my dear Leo friends can do so well. And yeah, Celestial Emma says fix those parts of your eighth house that you've been putting off. Yes, because the eighth house, it is a little bit scary for some people. It is a very deep, intense house, but the North Node is located into the eighth for you, my dear Leo. So it's actually your purpose right now to really dive into like the occult, spirituality, and like the things that bond you. That is also found in the eighth. There's trauma found in the eighth, but there's also psychic sensitivity. Definitely very strong for you, my dear Leos, with Pisces on the cusp of the eighth house, trining Jupiter in the 12th. That is like very, very beautiful. So tap into that mystical energy for sure. And yeah, you're going to benefit greatly from that. We have Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So, my dear Virgos, Jupiter is going to station retrograde in your 11th house of friendships. It's about your community, your like-minded people, your networks, your social circles, your soul tribe. All of that is found in the 11th. But Jupiter also rules your 4th house of home and family, and also your 7th house of relationships. So the Jupiter retro is going to blend friendships and family and also partnership dynamics. So a very, very social Jupiter retrograde for you, my dear Virgos. You're going to reconnect with old friends, with old communities. You're going to reassess who feels very safe and emotionally nourished around you. There can also be some realizations in certain friendships that they might require some more balance and reciprocity as well. And if you're partnered up, if you have like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you're gonna like integrate friend groups more. You're gonna integrate your partner more into your friendships. I was gonna say friend zone, but maybe that's coming true because I need to say that maybe some of your partners are you're gonna put them in a friend zone and vice versa. That can actually also be a theme here. So if you're single, you can bump into a lot of meaningful connections through your friends and through some gatherings, and also like these community events could actually spark a future romance. So yeah, there can also be conversations with your partner where you're gonna live in the long term. There can also be a revisioning about how your family fits into your future goals. But yeah, definitely a spotlight on your dreams, your goals, your future plans, which are also part of the 11th, and realign them with what feels genuinely fulfilling and not what only looks good on paper. This is actually a lucky and socially blessed period, guys. And I know with Saturn in the 7th and Neptune as well, it's not been always easy to reconnect on the long term with a lot of people. But this one can definitely bring some people back from the past in your life. So yeah, reflect on the meaning of the quality of your friendships, and also reflect on the emotional safety within your community. Yeah. It can also be about a reconnection with people who once really inspired you, or you can also like rediscover a purpose or like a cause that once really lit you up. And if certain communities or friendships are draining you, you're gonna feel it very clearly, and you know that it's like time to step back. So yeah, choose the people and dreams that feel like nourishment, and also the right community will amplify your growth and they will not compete with it. So good luck, my dear Virgo. And Mem Jack says, I am so excited. My moon is in Virgo and my best friend of 23 years is coming home. Like, how beautiful is that? That is so beautiful, because that means that Jupiter is on your moon, Mem Jacks, and that is always a time of abundance within your emotional feelings. So, and within the home as well. So, enjoy the coming back of your friends. So, yeah, we have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have Jupiter retrograde through your 10th house, and that governs your career, your reputation, your public image, and also your life direction. So it's actually a major checkpoint for your professional path. So since July, you have probably experienced a lot of growth or an increase in visibility or some new expansive opportunity in your career. Maybe a clearer sense of what you want your legacy to be. This is also about your leadership role that you portray to the world. And Jupiter now turns inward. So pause, reevaluate, reconnect with the emotional truth behind your ambitions. And Jupiter also rules over the third, which is about communication and learning and skills and also your mindset. But it also rules over the sixth, which is, of course, about your work, your routines, your health, and your daily responsibilities or your service towards others. So this one is going to blend your work-life balance. It's about your mental well-being and also about your professional aspirations into one big recalibration moment. So revisit your goals. Shifts are going to happen in how you communicate at work. You can also redefine what success looks like for you. By that, you can also create healthier boundaries around your time and like your time management, your energy, and the daily responsibilities that you take. So just know that your career expansion, it doesn't stop, but it's actually realigning with your emotional needs and your long-term well-being. So reflect on whether your current professional role or path in career, if that truly inspires and nurtures you. Does it inspire growth? Does it feel meaningful? Also, be mindful, work can really overconsume your life right now. So be careful about overworking. Maybe some time to slow down a little bit. Health and your inner balance matters just as much, even way more than your external success. So some of you are also going to rediscover something in regards to career from the past, an old boss, an old business partner, reconnection with former colleagues, mentors. Excuse me. You might also be rethinking your public persona and what you've been, like, what your reputation is. So yeah, some of you might definitely be craving more purpose or a more softer, authentic way of showing up in your professional sector of your chart. So this retrograde can really give you the time to reflect on that, and then it can open a door. So yeah, refine your long-term ambitions, and then you can make a lot of inner big adjustments before making these big outer changes or announcements. So yeah, realign yourself with your truth within your career or your own business. And when Jupiter is going to move forward, you're going to have a way more clearer vision about your path that is going to honor both your goals and also your well-being. So yeah, lead with your heart, not out of pressure. And the more that your career gets aligned with who you are, then the more effortlessly your success will unfold in the future. So good luck, my dear Libra. And yes, Katie is a Libra, a very beautiful, sweet, yet feisty Libra, just like I love them. And oh, that's so beautiful, Libra. Mem Jax is Libra rising, so yeah, very beautiful. I have a lot of energy here in the chat that is actually opposing my sun in Aries. So that is always like a polarity and like a magnet towards it's like it gets magnetized, Libra and Aries, because we can learn like a lot from each other. That is so beautiful. We can like balance each other out. So good luck, my dear Libra. We have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have Jupiter retrograde through your ninth house. And this is about your beliefs, of course. Jupiter is at home in the ninth. So it does really, really well here for you, my dear Scorpio. And of course, it also makes a beautiful trine to your Sun, Moon, or Rising. So that is so, so bountiful. And then you're actually being blessed by the universe. And like later this month, Venus is going to make a trine towards Jupiter, and that is like you can receive a lot of warmth and love and like a payout of good things that you are like that are well done, like a lot of good beneficial karmic retributions is the wrong word. You're gonna get a lot of beneficial energy from this, and it's also making a trine to everything in the fifth. So there is a grand water trine happening for the entirety of November, and you're gonna benefit greatly from that. So enjoy that energy, and you're actually protected with Venus in your sign as well. Don't go on the impulsive spending. With Mercury retro in the second and Mars in the second, you might like and you want to enjoy life and everything goes well, I'm gonna like flash my money everywhere. Be a little bit mindful about that, because with Mars in the second, there can be actually loss of money, which is a little bit contradictory with Venus in the first in your sign. But Venus in Scorpio is about increased magnetism, increased charm. Like you are so good at like the seduction games and everything like that, but don't go on like a spending impulsive spending behavior. That is like not well. But you can definitely treat yourself some nice new jewelry or clothes or something like that. You deserve it with Venus in your sign. Just be a bit mindful about loss of money. Mars in the second can definitely bring up some unexpected costs or some like impulsive spending behavior. So Jupiter stationing retrograde in the ninth is about higher learning, travel, your worldviews. Can also be about legal matters, can also be about publishing. But definitely a general theme here for everyone is spiritual growth. So yeah, it's very reflective, and it's a very big shifting in perspective kind of chapter here for you guys. And of course also Jupiter rules the second. That's also why I mentioned it. So the second is the house of money and values and your self-worth, and it also rules the fifth house, which is of course about creativity, children, and romance. So yeah, it's actually blending your belief system in the ninth with your confidence and your creative expression, and it's also like rewiring your financial mindset. So you're gonna question old narratives about what's actually possible for you. It's also about what you think you deserve, and it's also about what abundance truly means to you. There can be a lot of plans for travel. There can be ideas for projects that you want to publish. Can also be about going back to school in a more academic kind of setting, and that can have a positive effect on your income or like a new stream of income or like a new job. But yeah, this temporary delay, because retrograde always goes inward, it is actually divine timing, and it is guiding you towards a way more aligned futuristic path, because it's in the ninth. It's very, very strong here, very good for like rewiring your belief system, very nice for spiritual practice. You can pick up a past course or a study. You can bump into a former mentor. You can go back to a country or a culture that shaped you in the past, and now that can expand even bigger. And it can also be, if you travel, there can be a very big shift in the belief that you used to hold about life and about the world. So yeah, your intuition is your teacher right now. Return to your inner truth, to your spiritual philosophy. Take some time to dive deep into that, and yeah, also very wise to study spiritual or like metaphysical subjects. You can, yeah, explore or widen your view on like your ancestral or karmic beliefs as well, and this is like working through blocks of self-worth that can have an impact on your creativity. You can also like rewrite your limiting beliefs around money and success and self-expression, because my dear Scorpios, next year Jupiter is going to enter your 10th house. Once it crosses over the MC, you're becoming very, very visible. You're going to expand. All of people are going to look up to you, see you as more of a guiding factor, or like some kind of wise teacher, spiritual person, someone who has been putting an emphasis on expanding consciousness. And I know you Scorpios, you go really, really deep. So yeah, trust the inner journey. And also remember that like a ninth house retrograde, it doesn't stop your expansion. It is actually deepening the wisdom behind your belief system. So forward movement is going to come, and that's definitely going to happen next year. So the more beliefs, or like the more that you expand your beliefs from the inside, the wider your world will become on the outside, if that makes sense. So good luck, my dear Scorpio. And hi, Maureen. And thank you so much, Mem Jax, for telling everyone to hit the like button. I think you can also now hype videos. That's like something new. I should like definitely do that in my intro. And Dragon Sorceress says, needing Scorpios. Yeah, well, Scorpios, we definitely need them, but only if they're like in their Phoenix kind of era. We definitely do not need the snake Scorpios. So if you feel triggered by that, my dear Scorpio, that might say something. So good luck, my dear Scorpio. We have Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So, my dear Sag, you're the star of today's show because Jupiter, your ruling planet, is stationing retrograde. And for you, that is happening in the 8th house. So that is the house of profound intimacy, emotional depth, trauma healing, therapy, also psychological transformation. It's about depth, inherent, taxes, but mostly energetic exchanges. It's a very hidden house. So growth happens behind the scenes and within the depths of the soul. It's not so very obvious out there. And of course, Jupiter rules you, your sun or your first house if you're a Sag rising, which is of course about your identity and your body and your self-expression. And it's also ruling the 4th house, which is, of course, about home, family, roots, your emotional foundation. So you might feel like you're being pulled into deep internal waters to actually face some truths that you normally avoid a little bit. So this is about revisiting old emotional wounds, some patterns and family dynamics, can also expose fears around intimacy and vulnerability, and it's also going to put a spotlight on financial entanglements that maybe require a bit more of conscious restructuring. So release what has held too much power over you. Release what has held you as like an emotional security hostage, especially when it's tied to relationships and family dynamics. It can bring massive potential, psychological, but also in ancestral healing dynamics. So, yeah. Also, beautiful energy to actually renegotiate your shared finances. Maybe you can get a better deal on some kind of loan. Maybe you can get rid of some debt. You might also merge resources in a different way with your partner. You're also going to realize where money and emotional safety have been very closely intertwined. And if you felt a little bit blocked in your intimacy, within some trust issues, within you expressing your sexuality, then it's going to ask you to gently peel back the armor and all of the defenses and really heal what's underneath that. You can do that by therapy, by shadow work, by somatic work, by breath therapy, like breathing exercises, some healing practices that are actually, yeah, these can actually be life-changing right now. So you're shedding these layers of old identity, your survival patterns can also be about inherited emotional baggage from your family line that you're actually clearing out. And like when I had Jupiter going through my 8th house, oh my God, like that was such an expansive period. And like I really gained so much insight on why I did certain things, what my defense mechanisms were, why I was attracted to certain types of people or situations, and why certain patterns were like just coming back up again and again and again. And during this time, I was finally able to cut so many toxic things out of my life. And I'm like, it was not easy, not at all. But I'm so grateful for that period, because since then, I feel like I feel so much more confident in who I am as a person. And I'm way more confident in speaking my truth and in raising my voice in a diplomatic way, of course. But still, it has gained me tremendous insight in my own hidden motives and in the hidden motives of other people. And that was really, really necessary. So, yeah, a lot of transformational growth here. And it's gonna ripple into your home life and your relationships with your family, and it's gonna have a positive impact on your sense of self. So yeah, expect huge internal breakthroughs, and that is later gonna lead to all these big external shifts around your family connections, around your emotional safety within yourself, within your roots, within your living situations. Like, it's not because you've grown up in some kind of, can I say, maybe a little bit of distorted family kind of dynamics. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but Pisces on the EC, you might as well had a mother or a grandmother or some kind of parental figure who could have been very spiritual, but definitely, caused a lot of deception or fogginess or like assertiveness or like very, very unstable kind of energy. Pisces on the EC, you can like question your own identity and you can get lost in the tidal waves of Pisces, and that is not always easy. It depends on where your moon is, and if your moon makes hard or beneficial aspects, of course that says a lot as well. But like generally speaking, Pisces on the EC, it can be a little bit confusing. The family dynamics can be a little bit confusing. So just throwing that out there. If you feel if that resonates, then really like a lot of the imprints that you've had are very much energetic, and it's like your energetic field and aura that you need to work on, and you need to like clear out the holes in your aura so people cannot poke in that anymore. And Jupiter in the 8th trining the Pisces house right now is like a beautiful opportunity to dive into that and to restore these holes in your aura so that you're being better rooted within your spirituality, within your sense of belonging in your family as well. So yeah, some of you definitely are like the underdog in your family, but you're here to make necessary changes. And if you feel like you're the black sheep in the family, well, congratulations, you're actually doing pretty well. So that is also something that you might learn, or also something that you can open your eyes to within this period of time. So very beneficial for you, my dear Sagittarius. And with Mars in your sign, definitely a lot of passionate, fiery energy, can get a lot of things done. But with Mercury retrograde, be careful about signing like contracts or like having a little bit of disagreements with other people. With the Sun in the 12th, definitely your time to hibernate and rest and cocoon before it's Sag season. But okay, I'm digressing. I wish you the best of luck, my dear Sagittarius. And Mem Jack says, the Netherlands always love that name, and she is right there. Yeah, well, actually, Netherlands, that is actually my neighboring country. I am from Belgium, but like I feel like I'm born in the wrong country, because in the Netherlands, they are like very blunt and outspoken, and like you always know like where you stand. with someone who's Dutch and who's born in the Netherlands. Like I live in Belgium, I live in the West Flanders between like a lot of farmers and their potatoes. And here people are more reserved and like not so emotionally open and not so honest. And like, yeah, they're more reserved for sure. But I really like people who live in the Netherlands. So, all right. We have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So, my dear Capricorn, you're gonna have Jupiter retrograde in the 7th house. And that is actually, of course, in an opposing sign than yours. So, very, very impactful for you, my dear Capricorn. The 7th is, of course, about marriage and partnerships and your one on one connections. So, the spotlight is very big on the people in your life and how you show up within those dynamics and how they mirror that back to you. So if you've got placements between, let's say, 10, 20 degrees of, like right now, it's of course 25 degrees, which is very, very important, but I'm also thinking about the direct motion. So let's say between, 10, let's say 15, 25 degrees of Capricorn. Jupiter is like exactly opposing you, and the relationship themes actually are getting very much amplified. Jupiter also links back to your 12th house about inner healing, subconscious patterns, isolation, the spiritual realms, and it also reports back to the 3rd house, which is in Pisces. And the 3rd is, of course, about communication and siblings. So, yeah, very big period of meaningful reassessment and how you connect, communicate, and also how you emotionally show up for others. So, time to reflect on what you need in partnerships, on how you feel safe to express yourself. Are your relationships nourishing you at a deeper emotional level? Are you being encouraged? You're actually being encouraged to soften and to open and also to nurture the connections that truly matter the most to you. Definitely about marriage as well. Expansive, beautiful, benevolent energy in your marriage sector. So, release and rely on like you need to release emotional self-sacrifice and a sense of distance within relationships. This is positive energy to dive into like heartfelt conversations, and there can be a lot of healing moments that are going to actually help you understand your own needs but also your partner's needs more clearly. Subconscious fears or patterns might rise to resurface to be actually processed, because it links back to the 12th. So it can also show you how you self sabotage yourself with choosing the wrong partner. And with Jupiter now in the 7th, it can actually show you, it can bring a good one. If you meet someone new and you're like in love, and if you've bumped into someone since July the 7th, or if you already have a relationship, you definitely feel like a positive, blossomy, expansive energy in that area of your chart. And also because Jupiter is actually trining Saturn, which is your chart ruler. So it really supports this long-term growth and also emotional wisdom. And it's about like building these healthier foundations within a relationship. So very stabilizing and maturing kind of influence. It's going to teach you how to communicate with more empathy, also how to listen more deeply to the needs of your partner. And it's also rooted in emotional safety rather than like in duty or practicality. You really need someone open-minded now for you. It's really going to help you rebuild connection with more heart, more vulnerability, and it can definitely form new partnerships that support your growth instead of draining it. So really trust the process, open your heart, dive into the courage and the empathy. And these are going to be relationships that support your soul and not only your schedule. So with Jupiter coming out of the 6th, this is like a very big energetic shift. And next year it's going to go into the 8th. So that is also going to be very beneficial for your money, Capricorn. So good luck. We have Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So Jupiter retrograde in Cancer is happening in your sixth house. That is, of course, about health, routines, work, your daily responsibilities, your health and well being. So, major resets in how you take care of your body. This is like a mind body realignment. Jupiter rules the second house of money, self-worth, habits, your values, your skills, your possessions, and it's also reporting back to the 11th house because there is where Sag is found, and the 11th is about your soul tribe. So it's gonna really highlight how your self-esteem, which is found in the second, your spending patterns and your social life and your work-life balance are directly influencing like your physical and emotional health because it's in the sixth. So all these things interlink here with each other. So yeah, adjust your daily routine. If you've been like, yeah, you need to like tidy up your habits and your schedules because Jupiter in the sixth can bring massive overworking. When I had Jupiter in the sixth, I was like, oh my God, like these, I was gonna say mountains of work because we say that in Dutch, bergenwerk, but I'm pretty sure that's not the correct translation, but there can be piles and piles of like papers and like too much work, and it can cause a massive strain on your health because your stress levels are like rising. So also take notice of the thyroid. If you're like been gaining or losing a lot of weight, Jupiter rules the thyroid. When it's in the sixth, it can give some problems with that. Maybe you need to check your hormonal balances because Jupiter is a benefic, but if it conjuncts or makes squares to malefic planets in your own natal chart, you need to be wary for like burnout and all of that. So be mindful about that. Jupiter, it isn't all like fairies and unicorns. It is actually a teacher, and it expands everything it touches. So, unfortunately, also the lesser positive aspects can get amplified. So, establish healthier boundaries in your job, streamline your work tasks, and yeah, make more space for joy and self-care and implement that in your daily routine. You can clean up your diet, look at what you're eating. That can affect your hormonal balance. You can also, yeah, clear out your work environment. Like if you clear more space or have more space in your work environment, that can have a very positive effect on your well-being mentally. So realign your well-being with your values and your money, and look if you're paid for correctly for all the work that you put in, and also create routines that actually nurture you rather than drain you. Reflect on work dynamics, look at colleagues. You can maybe delegate some tasks, and you need to really release habits that are creating burnout. If you've been over schedulizing, Jupiter is going to help you to slow down so you can like take or like catch a breath and heal and like reorganize and rebuild like routines that are supporting more of long-term stability. And also know that like these small daily changes that you implement right now during the retrograde motion are going to have big emotional payoffs whenever it turns back direct. And especially if you like incorporate intuitive wellness practices, you really need to have daily nurturing rituals. So yeah, by choosing habits that are going to honor your energy and also your emotional needs, you're going to emerge from this transit stronger, healthier, happier, and also more aligned with a life that truly supports you. So don't overwork yourselves, my dear Aquarius. So yeah, I wish you the best of luck. We have Pisces and Moon or Rising. This is a big one for you, my dear Pisces, because Jupiter is going to station in your awesome fifth house and it's going to trine you on top of that. So, yeah, very positive Pisces. You get like amplified time of having Jupiter creating a lot of abundance in your fifth house of joy and creativity. Now, luckily, you have this transit because with Saturn and Neptune, I know you can really like use the positive influence. Definitely over the last 3 years have not been easy on you, my dear Pisces. I know that. So, fifth house, romance, children, hobbies, projects that you're really passionate about and that can make your heart sing. Jupiter is, of course, ruling your first house because Jupiter is your ancient ruler. So the first is about your identity. It's in giving you an increase in confidence, and you can like amplify or like there can be a shift in your personal direction. But it also reports back to the 10th house. It rules, Jupiter belongs to Sag, and you have Sag on the 10th house cusp. So this is your career, your public image, also your legacy. So yeah, reevaluate what truly brings you joy, and also how that joy actually connects you to your purpose. You might return to old passions from the past, forgotten hobbies that made you very, very happy or made your inner child's heart sink and come back up. It's also about creative talents that you actually set aside because of all your real life responsibilities with Saturn in your sign being like this tough taskmaster whipping your ass for the past few years. Now you need to like reconnect with what feels playful and authentic and emotionally fulfilling. It's actually putting an emphasis on wanting to make you feel like you again. So go back to the past. What did you love to do as a kid? Also, themes that are gonna resurface for reflection are, of course, your romantic ties. You can have like a revisit from a past love, look back at your past artistic dreams, and also like the childhood joys that you had once before life got heavier as you grew older. So yeah, very deeply heart centered, and you can ask yourself like, am I expressing my true self, or have I dimmed my light to fit into the expectations of society, or the 10th house, the expectations of someone who has some kind of authority over me? Claim back your power in that way. So very beautiful energy for inner child healing, for big creative rebirth, and yeah, really redefine your joy in a way that feels aligned with your future career path. You can like really make some stuff with your hands, whether that's ceramics, like ceramic, or like sewing, knitting. Being creative at home can actually, yeah, shift your career path. Maybe you're gonna earn a buck of the things you create, and that is like very beneficial. A beautiful water trying to your sign as well. This is very, very profoundly meaningful. So the fact that it trines Saturn in your sign and also Neptune is really, yeah, a flow of inspiration. So if you stay committed to like your artistic goal or hobby, then it can really reshape your life direction in a very beautiful way. So yeah, your passions are influencing your career growth later on if you dive into that, especially if you already work in the field involving like art or spirituality, or looking out or caring for children, or something in regards to mental health. Maybe you play, you create, you dance, you write, paint. So yeah, express yourselves without apology, because by nurturing what lights you up, you're gonna plant big seeds for the future that is gonna feel more aligned with your soul, and not just about your obligations. So yeah, really follow that spark, my dear Pisces, because your joy, it isn't the distraction from your purpose. It is actually the pathway to it. So good luck, my dear Pisces. So I'm quickly gonna take a glance at the chat. Katie already says my daily routines needs tweaking. Yeah, I think if you're honest with yourself, a lot of people need to tweak their daily routine. We all have like this defense mechanism and like a lot of distractions, especially that damn phone. Everyone's just like scrolling every day and like, yeah, distracting themselves from what's actually needing to change. So oh, Ma'am Jax, that is so sweet. I am honored to be in this community, everyone. I hope your day, evening, night is filled with smiles, hugs of love for y'all. Thank you, Astro. Thank you so much, Ma'am Jax. And thank you so much, all of the other guys and girls who are in the chat. Yeah, I think that was it for today. Remember, it's your cosmic realignment era. You're not losing your luck, you're actually leveling it up right now. So take all the hints from the universe, slow down, pivot where you need to, and choose the things that actually feels allee, choose the things that actually make you feel right, and that are right for your soul right now. Because when Jupiter is going to go direct by the 10th of March, the glow up is going to hit totally different. So if this resonated, drop your rising sign in the comment box below so that I can stalk your chart like a loving astrologer. No, I'm just kidding. Like, sending all of you some Jupiter sized hugs and kisses. I love you guys so much. So I wish you a lovely evening. Bye bye.